Although we don't use profanity on this platform, I just have to say grief is a she told her husband that she wanted to get a divorce and he unalived her in front of their 3-year-old daughter. Physically here on this earth, I feel like my dad was my provider, my protector. And so although I did not have that in my marriage, I still felt like my dad just left me to be by myself. And part of me was just like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, although we don't use profanity on this platform, I just have to say grief is a B word. And rather you want to admit that grieving is hard, that grieving just slaps you in the face when you least expect it. Grieving is so hard. It's something I personally never thought I'd need to do on this level. So as you guys know, I am divorced. I am your host. Welcome back to the Just Healing Podcast. I am your host, Jasmine Kyle Hill, your favorite non-gatekeeping divorced girly who is on this healing journey, inviting you to be on it with me. I've already told myself that there can't be any crying this episode. I'm not in the mood to cry. And if you know me, I'm a crier. Like, I love to cry. It brings me joy personally. But I'm not in the mood to cry. I really just want to be very candid and very open and honest, which is what we do on this platform, about grief and how grief can look so different, and how the last almost 2 years I've been experiencing grief in so many different ways. Really not so many, really, two, but whatever, we'll get into it. So as you guys know, I relocated myself and my 2 children to Texas in June of 2023. And during that time, I'm gonna just take y'all back. I just have a few. Grief has been just so heavy. And I feel like grief becomes heavier when I try running away from grief, and grief be like, girl, come back here, bring your butt back here. I ain't done with you. That's how I feel my experience has been with grief. And so in honor of my dad's birthday, I just wanted to talk about grief, because I feel like he has been the biggest component of grief for me. I truly believe that losing a parent is one of the worst feelings in the world. Because you're losing something that you've known for your whole life. I can't speak on people who don't know what it's like to lose a parent. I know sometimes when I talk to people, I say, for me in particular, I never really found myself grieving either set of grandparents because I never met them. I never knew what it was like to have grandparents. So I have never grieved them. I have looked at people's relationships with their grandparents and said, wow, I really wish I had that, but I didn't. And so it's not really something I harbor over. And so I don't know if that's the same with like people who maybe lost a parent, that parent wasn't in their life because you're coming directly from that person. I don't know. But I know for me, losing my dad was the worst feeling thus far in life. It's so interesting because losing my dad obviously came in the time of my divorce. And so I was in the midst of my divorce. Literally, my dad was cremated, but I attended my dad's service, and then within the next 2 weeks, I was in our first temporary hearing for my divorce slash child custody case. And so, where many would feel like they were grieving their marriage as well as a parent, I was just grieving my parent, who in many ways was my protector in place of my husband. So I feel like what I grieved in that moment when I lost my dad was almost like, although I was married, my dad was still my provider, my protector, along with, of course, God, the ultimate provider, protector, but physically. It took a little while, but when I started feeling him, I felt him, and it felt so like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how it was when I was home. So I grieved my divorce in a sense of, when I got married, I knew that this person would never be husband material. Like I knew that. And so it was more so grieving me really feeling like I was being stupid. I was so pressed to not be a baby mama that I just threw out all my morals, all of my, what you know isn't right. That all went out the door, because it was like, okay, but if I could be a wife, you know, like maybe things change when I become a wife. And no, it didn't. And so I did not grieve my ex-husband. I did not grieve what we had. I feel like in a lot of situations, you can say there was more good than bad. No, there was absolutely more bad than good. And throughout that whole relationship, there was absolutely more bad than good. And if you can ever look at a relationship and say there was more bad than good, then you don't need to be there. And so that happened. I feel like during this time also, so when I first moved here, June 2023, I had a cousin who, she really was a family friend. Like, our moms went to church together forever. Her and my sister were the same age. They played in diapers. I was about to say forever, but they've been friends since they were in diapers. And I remember when I first moved here, she just kept saying she was so proud of me. She was so proud of me. Like, and she kept kind of like alluding to knowing what it was like to be with a high conflict person, a person with narcissistic traits. We're not diagnosing. A person with narcissistic traits. She just kept saying how proud she was of me. And in my mind, I really just thought she was proud of me. I thought it was like, you're a big sister, you're proud of me. But really, she too was going through an abusive relationship. In early January of 2024, she told her husband that she wanted to get a divorce, and he unalived her in front of their 3-year-old daughter. That was January. In February, I lost my aunt, my mom's sister. That was February. We had her service on May 5th, which I was in Cleveland for. Me and my kids came back to Texas May 7th. And my dad passed away May 9th of 2024. Grief has whooped my butt. And the way that grief has whooped my butt, but also just drawn me so much closer to God, because grief has really allowed me to know that no one is permanent. And what are you going to do to make sure you keep these people alive in your head? My dad rides with me in the car all the time, like all the time. And he's always talking mess, just like he was. My aunt, I can hear her so clearly, but I look at videos, I look at pictures, and I'm able to remember her, but nothing will ever come close to them being here again. And sometimes with grief, you do wake up, like sometimes you just wake up like, I can't believe my daddy's gone. Like I can't believe my dad is gone. And so I just want to say to my dad, happy heavenly birthday. I know that you are up there just kikiing, having a good old time. Grief is kicking my butt. I know that you are so proud of me. And I'm sorry for the last years of your life, me just scaring the heck out of you. But I want you to know, and I know that you do know because you were here for it, that I got out and I'm okay. And I hope that since you know I'm okay, you know that you're resting well, because your job is done. It's job well done. And to anybody who is struggling with grief, I just want to tell you to sit in it and tell you that I wish I could say it goes away, but it never does. But sitting in it and trying to find ways to live through grief does make it a little more manageable. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's all I got. Like I can't go any further because I know me, and we agree we're not crying. So I just wanted to come on here and say that if you are struggling with grief in this season, just try to sit in it. Try to find ways to live through the grief, push through the grief, and you're gonna be all right. Make sure you're following me on all socials. My social media is Girl That's J Kyle, GirlThatsJaysJayle, and that's on Instagram. Threads, y'all, I love Threads. I cannot wait to make an episode about Threads because I love Threads so much. Threads, TikTok, and of course Just Healing Podcast as well, where I do post clips, and I'm gonna start figuring out what else to post on there so it's just not clips. But yeah, I just wanted to jump on here and say that and hope that it resonates with someone. And I'll talk to you guys later.